Hey guys, it's time for our next compilation. Today I will serve you 10 tricks and tips for Affinity Designer. I hope they will enhance your workflow. So let's get started. How can we use a shape builder tool in Affinity Designer version 2? Be sure you are in version 2. There's no shape builder tool in version 1. So we need at least two shapes. Select them both and then search for the shape builder tool on the left. The shape builder tool will work in two different modes, plus or minus mode. You can determine that before you start, so click plus if you plan to unite your shapes. Now I can click and drag to select the shapes to unite. And here it is, one unified shape. Let's undo and try the minus mode. Now it's in the red highlight, so I can cut out this part and end up with a different shape. It's super helpful while you're designing some complex logos or symbols. Like in this case here. I can select all of that, use Shape Builder tool in the plus mode, and simply unite shapes that I need, like that. Without Shape Builder tool, this will take a really long time to nicely unite those shapes and also remove those unnecessary shapes. So whatever shapes are intersecting, we can use this tool. Take a look, he's kind of highlighting every intersection even though it's not a separate shape just yet. And just like that, we create a really cool symbol using a shape builder tool. Let me show you how we can curve text in Affinity Designer version 2. There are two ways of doing that. Method number one is to simply apply a vector warp on your text layer. So select your text layer and then below your layer panel you will see this little warp icon. Click on that. And from here we can select some presets. Like for example this arc preset, and we can change the value of the arc, and this way we can curve, we can bend the text. And the best part of this method is it's non-destructive. If you take a look in my layer panel, there's a warp group, but inside that group there's still a text layer, so I can always edit that text inside, no problem. So that's a method number one. Let's undo. Let me show you method number two. Sometimes actually we need to put a text on the path. We can do that. We just need a path. So I'm going to use a pen tool to create some kind of vector path for the text. Can you see it? It's this black line. Now I can simply select and copy my text, select the line, click on the text tool, and be sure you hover your mouse above the line until you see this special icon indicating text on the path. After that, simply paste your text, and here it is, we got text on the path. The best part is we can still modify this line even after, so it's very editable. Alright, so there are two ways of putting text on the path or curving the text. First one is to draw a path for it or draw a shape. It can be a perfect circle. You can put the text on the perfect circle. That's the very same thing. Alright, so you can put the text on the curve like this, or you can select a text and then use the warp option over here and create your warp. You can even make a custom warp like this one. Take a look. We can bend this text as we want. Let me show you how you can create multiple artboards, multiple pages in Affinity Designer version 2. While you are creating a new document, you can already click Create Artboard, That will unlock the artboard number 1 and will be a bit easier to put new artboards. But actually we can keep it off, so I can show you the default state. Let's create this document. And here it is. By default we got one document surrounded by gray color. Let me just zoom out a bit. Take a look. One page at the center and empty area all around. The second tool on the list here on the left is called Artboard tool. Let's select that. From here we can insert artboard. By default you will be inserting the same artboard as the previous one based on the size of the document, but you can select custom size. You can even mix different sizes in one document. But before you can insert your first artboard, you must click Insert Artboard once. Did you notice the gray color in the backdrop change? And now I can see the name of the artboard. It's Artboard 1. We can change that by double tapping on that name. Here it is. And from now on, you are able to insert more artboards. So just hit Artboard, insert artboard over here. And here's artboard number 2. If I hit it again, I got artboard number 3. Keep in mind, we can readjust them, we can move them around. You can grab the artboard and move it around. If you need to change the size of the artboard, you can do it using mouse. Or if you need more precision, you can search for transform box on the right side and just type exact size. Here it is. I got 512, 512. And this document got 3 artboards right now. You can export each artboard separately, or you can export them all together as one PDF with multiple pages. Let me show you how we can export our design in Affinity Designer into a PNG with transparent backdrop. By default, if you hit File and then search for Export, even though you set up our file format to PNG, you will see this white backdrop all around. How can we fix that? Let's cancel. The first solution will be to just select the object you need. So if you don't need everything in the artboard, just select the object you need, click File, Export, and then instead of exporting the whole area, export selection only. In that case, you will see this checkerboard around indicating transparency. So we are safe to put it on your hard drive with a transparent backdrop. What if you need the whole artboard though? In that case, we can change the artboard color to transparency. Simply head to Document Setup, go to Color, and then there's this checkbox, Transparent Background. Turn it on, click OK, and here it is. Now you can see the transparency all around our object. So let's click File, Export to do a final check. Take a look. Now we're exporting the whole document with the transparent backdrop without any issues. I just get this nice PNG here, but I want to modify the color. Is it possible in Affinity Designer? I already drag and drop this in my designer document, and we will need to switch to different persona. By default, we are in designer persona for vector graphics, but a PNG file, that's a pixel-based graphic. So let's move to the next button here, pixel persona. It will change your tool panel, and from here we should be able to modify the color of this image. Simply head to the top menu and search for layer panel here at the top and search for new adjustment. We want to apply adjustment to this raster graphics. So what we need to do is we need to search for hue saturation lightness adjustment. That's the easiest one to play with for changing colors. So I click on that, and it will give you this nice pop-up box when we can modify the overall hue of the image. So if I push this top slider to the left, I end up with totally different color palette. And that's really easy way. We can control saturation and even the brightness using the lowest slider. Alright, so without complex editing, we can very quickly modify the color. But what if I want to keep those blue parts intact, then switch from the general one to yellow because we want to change the yellow color, right? And now we are modifying the yellow color mostly. Take a look. The yellow part of the fish is now violet, but we didn't recolor those blue parts. And other way around as well. I can keep this as original one, move to the blue color here. And then we move the top slider, changing those blue shades to purple, to pink, without touching the yellow part of the fish. If you are happy with the result, simply click on your PNG, head to File, you want to export this again with the new colors, right? So head to Export, select PNG, so we keep it as PNG, and area will be only selected. Here it is, the same size as the original PNG without the backdrop with new colors. Let me show you how we can duplicate a shape around a circle in Affinity Designer version 2. So here I am in the desktop version. I got the circle here, and now I'm going to draw additional shape, triangle, just above it, just like that. And now what I want to do, I want to duplicate this all around the circle. If you try to copy and paste Command C, Command V, and then rotate that manually, it will be not precise and it will take a while. So there's a better way. Let's get rid of that. First thing we need to do, we need to move the center of rotation, because by default it's from the center of the shape, right? So let's move the center of rotation to the center of this another shape, the circle thing. So click here at the top, enable transform origin, and you will see the center of rotation. Now we can move it all the way here. Let's test it out. Take a look. When I try to rotate now, it's rotating through that point. So we are halfway through. Now I can simply copy and paste, Command C, Command V, and for that copy I can move it out. If you hold Shift, you will be jumping 15 degrees. Alright. Do I have to do it again? Yeah, you can. We can press again. Command C, Command V. But we can also use something called Power Duplicate. That's Command J. And from now on, I will be not only making a copy of the object, but also make a copy of the last transformation, in our case, rotation. And this way, very quickly, we can rotate the copy around the object. So once more, if you use Power Duplicate, Command J, and then you simply press it again, Command J, you're not only making a copy, but you also duplicate the last transformation. In our case, that's the rotation. So that's the easiest way, in my opinion. How to add or change fill color in Affinity Designer. Let's start with a simple shape. We need something that we can fill with color. As you can see, I got the triangle now. And if I click on that triangle, I can see that there's a fill color and stroke color. Every vector object in the program will have those two things. We can get rid of the stroke color by clicking transparency here, and same with the fill color. Take a look. The fill disappeared, even though the shape is still here. Alright, let's change to your favorite color wheel and select a new color from here. That's the easy way. Alternatively, you can use the color panel on the right here to change the color as well. So, if there's a shape without a color, let's say with only stroke like that, empty inside, you can just click on that circle and add the color in. No problem. What if we got only lines? It's not a full shape. So let me draw a few lines. Line number 1, 2, and 3. So we got 3 separate lines. How can we put the color? Here in this enclosed area, select all of the lines first. Then on the left side, search for this little bucket tool, Vector Flat Fill tool. Then you can select the color and hover your mouse over here in this closed area. If you click, a new shape will be created. Take a look in my layer panel. I got new shape and it's filled with that color we select. Don't worry, we can recolor that easily as well. So it's really easy to change the fill color of any shape in Affinity Designer. What if you're working with the rasters? Affinity Designer is mostly vector editor, but there are some limited raster tools. Simply switch to Pixel Persona, and there are some tools for us that will allow us to select area you wanna change and then experiment with that. So by default, while using Designer, we are talking about vector shapes. That's what I show you already. Sometimes you may be requested to convert your fonts into curves by printing houses, by stock banks. So why we do that and how to do that in Affinity Designer version 2. The main reason to do that is simply to turn a font, a live font, into a shape. So then the final user don't need to own that font. But unfortunately we cannot edit that text as well. So the main reason is to turn your text into shapes, so there's no problem at the other end when people try to print this out or use your design, even without proper fonts. It's especially important if you use some fancy fonts, not popular ones, like this one over here. I select this text. As you can see, it's still editable text. I can see letter A in the layer panel, indicating this is Art Text layer. Now I will need to switch to Move tool. That's the first tool on the list. Select the text, and then at the top right, I can see those arrows showing me additional options. If you're on the really large screen, those options will be simply on this bar. In my case, I got a bit smaller screen, so I got those arrows. And among those options at the very end of the list, I can see Convert to Curves. Click on that. And now we got a group instead of text layer. Let's open that group. As you can see, each letter is a shape now. Each letter is a simple shape. So we already convert this text to curves. We cannot edit the text, but thanks to this conversion, anybody can open this document even without the font. So we can simply save it and send to another person without worries that they don't have our font. Hey, let's learn how we can turn on transparent backdrop in Affinity Designer version 2. So when you create your new document, by default you will see this white backdrop. You can click Document Setup here, and then in Colors, this option to turn on transparent backdrop. Let's turn it on, click OK, and you will see this transparency checkerboard now. And when you export your files, you will export them with transparent backdrop as well. Affinity Designer can be a great alternative to Adobe Illustrator. With just one-time purchase, we can get a great vector editing software. Keep in mind, Designer is available for both Windows and Mac, and there's also an iPad version. As you can see, here I am on the official website, and when you scroll all the way down, you will see there are 3 versions right now: macOS, Windows, and a cheaper one, iPad version. Because there's a mobile iPad version, some people search for the Android one as well. Unfortunately, there's no Android version available right now, and more than that, the developers confirm that they are not actively working on one. So you can get it on macOS, Windows, and iPad. And if you see like download Android version somewhere online, be very careful. That's probably some kind of scammy virus or stuff like that. So please avoid those links. Don't try to download Android version. There are even videos here on YouTube with links to the Android version. All of that stuff is fake. You can check for yourself. Just head to the official website, scroll down, and you will see that only 3 versions are available right now. So today's video is a little warning because I can see those scammy links, scammy videos everywhere nowadays. Don't download any Android version. It's all fake. Alright, thank you for today. Let's learn more about Affinity Designer in the next video.